Norfolk, England, coined the treasure capital of the United Kingdom today, and with good reason. In 2022, Norfolk was home to as many as 98 reported finds of historical significance, making Nelson's County responsible for just over 9% of all treasure finds reported that year. Now I know what you might be thinking. 9% may not sound like a whole lot initially. However, when compared to other counties' finds across the UK, we can clearly see that Norfolk's number of finds continues to be significantly higher year after year. But why is this the case? Why is there so much history buried in this county specifically? England has been a thriving hub of settlers for over 5,000 years, and during this time has become home to various people from all over Europe. The ancient Romans, the ancient Britons, the Anglo-Saxons, the Danes, and the conquering Normans, all calling this relatively small island home. And with so many civilizations invading, settling, and later fading away, this has left the county rich with historical artefacts. But why is Norfolk in particular on top when it comes to discoveries? Well, there may be several reasons as to why this region of Britain was so advantageous to people at the time, such as its close proximity to northwestern Europe and Scandinavia. However, when researching the subject, the most obvious reason to me is actually due to the area's arable soil. Good soil means crops, crops means food, and food not only means survival, but wealth as well. Now, we know that Roman armies had vacated Britain by around 410 AD, after having occupied Britain for over 3.5 centuries, and during this time brought engineering and advanced agriculture. However, with gradual decline of the Roman Empire, political unrest and war on the home front meant that Rome's armies were required to return home. This left Britain open to the Anglo-Saxons, who would later arrive and begin successfully settling in Britain in approximately 450 AD, having previously failed to do so whilst the Romans occupied the country. The Saxons would farm Norfolk intensely, which by this time was now known within the Kingdom of East Anglia, and with that, Anglo-Saxon England grew to become one of the wealthiest kingdoms in all of Europe, due to the country's great success in farming and trade. During the Saxon period, Norfolk was home to many powerful rulers, including the famous King Railwald of East Anglia. The Saxon influence can still be seen today in many churches and monasteries that dot the countryside, including the ruins of the beautiful Saxon church at North Elmham, as well as many others. Now all of this wealth came with its own set of problems, the most serious of which being the continuous raiding by Viking forces, who would often demand large sums of gold in tribute. These same Vikings would too begin settling in Britain during the 9th and 10th centuries, particularly in Norfolk, and a major reason for this being farming. The Vikings played a very significant role in the development of Norfolk, and did in fact first establish Norwich as a major town during the 9th century, then known as Norfolk. Even the infamous Norman invasion of Britain and the last successful conquest of England that followed during the 11th century did not change the county's role within Britain either, and they too followed suit, continuing what the Britons, Romans, Anglo-Saxons and Danes had done before. So, it seems that no matter who ruled at the time, the kingdom continued to grow in wealth and power. Andy Hutchinson, an archaeologist and research fellow with the University of East Anglia, stated that Norfolk was once a populous part of Western Europe prior to the Roman invasion. It was a very important area and developed lots of wealth from agriculture. By the medieval period, this came to be reflected in the number of churches built. With lots of people, wealth and churches, it is inevitable for there to be lots of treasure here. And we can still see this today. In fact, while researching for this video, I learned that Norfolk has the highest concentration of churches in the world, over 650 across the county, and no less than 20 castles that were constructed by the Normans during their reign of Britain, one of which being Norwich Castle, built as a royal palace by order of William the Conqueror in 1067. Now for me, these two facts alone are a brilliant example of the level of wealth that the county had acquired. So there we have it, simply put, with Norfolk being continuously settled in, developed and farmed by various people over the course of more than 6.5 centuries due to its ideal conditions, as well as its geographical location and other benefits, it really should come as no surprise that the county is home to so many historical finds of Roman, Saxon, Viking and Norman origin. To cover this particular subject in detail would take far too long for one video, but hopefully this video has helped to give you some idea as to why Norfolk is the UK's treasure capital. Thank you very much for watching and listening. Take care.